Hello and welcome to the Whole Being Healing Podcast. I'm Lisa Warner. I'm the author of The Simplicity of Self-Healing and co-creator of Lisa and Maura's Magical Mystery School for Whole Being Healers.
Thanks, Lisa. And I'm Maura Leon S. And I am co-author with my husband Keith of the 7 Steps to Successful Relationships. That was our first book, and many more since then. And co-creator with Lisa of the Mystery School and the Whole Being Healing Transformational Experience. And today we are interested in talking about returning to the real world. We've all been placed in this virtual world, and there are many great things about it. It has helped us in so many ways and continues to. And at the same time, I know I personally am noticing that I've become disengaged from the local community. We still go outside in nature, and that's awesome. But I'm feeling I'm feeling a missing piece of connecting with people in the community, especially since I'm relatively new to this community for being year round. So that may be part of what it is. We know we have our group of friends, but yeah, anyway, what do you think, Lisa?
Yeah, we look out in the world and we see this push for artificial intelligence, artificial ingredients, artificial limbs, all kinds
Hmm.
of things that are really artificial. We go to the grocery store and there's a lot of artificial foods in there. There's not a lot of real organic foods. And since 2020, we've all been taught go inside, shelter in place, don't touch anybody, stay away.
Yeah.
It has really caused an even further disconnection between ourselves and each other, between ourselves and what's actually real in the world. And we can't heal when we're being divided and separated because the ultimate truth is we are one.
Yeah, I think since 2020, I kind of uh, sort of retreated from the public in some ways. We're still going to the grocery store, of course. That's like where you go every week because you need food. Unless you live in a food forest already, which good for you if you're at that point. Awesome.
Or if you're a
But
breatharian, even better.
there you go, breatharian. Yeah, exactly. But in terms of connecting in other ways, I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, because when they did the shutdown in 2020. Some people noticed that the ones who didn't get shut down were the big corporate chains, and the ones who did get shut down were the small local proprietors. And that was a lot of people that we knew. That was most of the places that Keith and I, wanted to go. So, are there still some out there? I don't even know. I mean, I know a few. I do know a few. But I want to get out there more. Um, because I feel like this online connection, like I said, it is awesome. It is create like what we're doing in whole being healing and connecting with people and creating a vibrational shift, creating a consciousness shift, creating a shift in the lives of those of us who are participating in this, is amazing and beautiful. And at the same time, it's feeling like something's missing, and I think that's what it is. And I have a vision of doing local classes as well. I don't know what that's going to look like or when it can happen, but I feel like the first step will be to just start engaging more with local people in local businesses, people in the community. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. With that, if we look at the design of this incredible planet, we see that it's one massive ecosystem where every single plant, animal, insect, bird, human plays a part. Everyone has their role to play on this planet. And when we're all playing the role that we're supposed to be playing, the role that we're designed to play, which is adding to life on the planet, making, stewarding life, protecting life, then everything is incredible and beautiful and amazing. But, we have been taught to reverse our roles. We have been taught that life isn't sacred, that, we're here to take advantage of the earth and just, strip mine, rip out all the stuff that we don't want, rip out the stuff that's valuable to us, and to disrespect, throw the litter on the ground, pollute the rivers and streams with your industrial waste, or pollute the skies with whatever they're polluting them with. And you know this is where the disconnect inside us is. When there's a disconnect inside, when we're disconnected from our true nature, who we are as souls, who we are as grand beings of light and love, angels in human form, when we're disconnected from that, we start to disconnect from our role on the planet. And we start to disconnect from the planet ever since we were little kids. When we were really little kids, we were just like outside playing, and playing in the dirt, climbing trees, doing our thing. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now you're going to go inside that box, and you're going to sit in that box for 6 or 8 hours a day, and you're going to learn what we tell you to learn. And it was like, suddenly we got ripped out from our natural surroundings. We got taken out of nature and we got put inside in an artificial environment with artificial intelligence, right? Because that's not just natural intelligence that is being shared. It's actually not really intelligence that's being shared. It's just random information that
Mm,
isn't really
yeah.
particularly useful.
Yeah, and I think even with that, in particularly in smaller towns and rural type places, which this place that we live kind of is,
Mhm.
that people in these towns, knew their neighbors, connected with their neighbors regularly, had each other's backs, helped each other out, did things together. And I think that's one of the last pieces that is starting to has started to kind of go away. And it's been wonderful as we've gone out for walks during this winter, because people in our community where we live now um, do go out for walks all year long. And we've bumped into a few people. We've connected with people even that we didn't know. Remember that woman the other day who had just started singing? I can't even remember what song she was singing, but it was so cool. And we started singing with her. And I don't know, she might have been on something, but she was really bringing joy.
Right? Absolutely.
And with my parents, before they were not able to stay in their home anymore, which has just been a couple years ago, and they lived in an even smaller town, the house that I grew up in Vermont, and they still had that connection to their neighbors. Their neighbors were really there for them. It was really beautiful to see that. But I did notice that since the whole COVID shutdown, that changed, that it became more challenging, more difficult, because people who were buying into the fear and feeling like they needed to separate themselves from each other because of that, um, really made it a whole different thing. So I feel like we haven't really come back from that, and I feel like it's it if mm, the other piece that I was wanting to get to as I was listening to you talk, Lisa, is yeah, connecting with nature and supporting nature and doing right by Mother Earth, and also reconnecting to who we really are and the abundance that's within us, between us, and around us, because we've gotten so used to um, value being in the numbers of currency that we use. And it's become so sort of mindless, but at the same time, so much pressure in our lives to be, accomplishing something that has to do with those numbers, and where those numbers, look like, okay, everything's going to be all right, you know,
Right?
instead of,
It's part of the artificial world.
yeah,
Money is, it's not organic. That's not part of the original design.
right. But how do you shift your consciousness enough to see the difference because it's been so ingrained for so long, hasn't it?
Right? Yeah, we've traded value for money. We've gotten those very mixed up. We've traded spirituality, like who we truly are as spirit, and for religion. Everything has been distorted and turned around, flipped around backwards. So
Right?
we've been living in this artificially constructed reality of rules and regulations, and you got
Yeah.
to do this, you got to register your car, you got to do this, you got to pay your taxes, follow these rules. If you don't follow the rules, you're going to get punished. It's not how God operates. That's not the original design here.
Yeah.
There's no other species on the planet that has to pay to live on the planet. There's no other species on the planet that's policing each other. Like, this is just unique to us. We get to have that role, but we don't
Right?
play just because we've been given that role artificially doesn't mean that we have to participate in that role. And
Yeah.
we go back and we look at little children, 2, 3, 4 year olds, they just want to play. They don't care if you're a boy or a girl, whether your skin is black or white or purple. It doesn't make a single bit of difference. Little kids just want to play. They want to help each other. A little kid falls down, cries, somebody goes running over and says, "Oh, you see that all the time with little children. That's our nature. We're
Hmm.
meant to play together, live together, play together in community."
Yeah, and when kids get an entrepreneurial idea and they want to do something, they want to bring value to other people, they're not thinking about money. They're thinking about, well, this will be fun and this will be cool. I can learn something, I can do something, I can create something, I can share it with people, I can connect with people. And then it's like, oh, and then they'll give me money. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with money until it gets to be, again, where it's like we're not, like, I think there are so many people right now that really have gifts to share and that really want to support each other. And I mean, like, that's our nature. Like, that's what we want to do. We just want to be here for each other. And I think actually I now that I'm saying this, I'm really feeling that there is a shift happening where, we've been talking about who are the new leaders coming forward, right? And how they're not people who are wanting to be in the spotlight and wanting to sort of mind control everyone into working with them. And so how do we do it another way? And I think that's what we're in right now. We're kind of in that space between the way it's been done and how do we do it another way? Because those of us who aren't that way, those of us who are authentic and peaceful and loving and have and are the new leaders and have so much to share, we're not willing to do that. We're like, no, I'm not doing that. And so we are starting to come together and connect. And yeah, that's pretty cool.
Right? It's like when we come together, we're all holding a piece of the
Hmm.
puzzle of oneness. I mean, it was never meant to be a puzzle because we were never meant to be fractured or fractionated or separated. So if you think about how a puzzle is, you take a one picture and then you cut it up into all kinds of pieces, and then you got to put those pieces back together to reform the puzzle. But we're really not supposed to be a puzzle. Life isn't meant to be puzzling. But it
But
has.
we are, but we are all pieces of one beautiful whole, beautiful picture that all
Absolutely.
bring our piece to it.
That's it. Exactly. Like when we go out in nature, nature isn't a puzzle. It just is. It's what is there. It's what's real. So when we bring ourselves back into alignment with that, all of those borders and edges, they start to disappear. and the puzzle just turns into one big, beautiful hologram.
I love that. And instead of like, oh, I have to find my spot. Where does it go? Where does it go? Where does it go? It's like it's just natural.
Yeah, like we've all been taught that we're pieces of the puzzle and we have to fit in. Like we're supposed to fit in,
Yeah.
do the right thing, fit in, don't stand out, don't be different. You know, don't call attention to yourself. Just try to fit in and everything will be okay if you just fit in. But nobody knows where to fit into the artificial world. When we're living by artificial rules, artificially constructed realities of, you know, disproportionate wealth and poverty, disproportionate, you know, power and disempowerment, victimization. You know, none of these extremes are normal or natural. What's actually normal and natural is for us to be in balance. We don't need the scales swinging wide one way and the other way. But we've all been taught you have to pick a side. It's either one side or the other side.
Right?
And you know, there is no in between. It's either for us or you're against us. There is no it's like no, when we're standing in balance, when we're standing in the middle, there's a completely other option. It's not just this or that. It's not just duality.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many things I could say to that. And yet, I'm just basking in the moment and the vibration of what's real. Because as you talked about that, my mind went to the whole political system, and I was just like, I don't even want to say anything about that. I'm like so over it. Like, do I
It's
even need to say anything at this point?
it's really, it's very draining, it's very exhausting, it makes us feel very uncomfortable inside. And when we feel really uncomfortable inside, that's our body and our soul letting us know, like, hey, something's out of balance here.
Hmm.
And when we're made to feel uncomfortable going out into the world, out into public, it's like it's very, very difficult. And then when we come back in, we feel safe in our houses, right?
Yep.
Because uh, that's where we've been taught that we're safe, but it's also where we don't have to risk having a confrontation or an uncomfortable interaction. But we don't need to have confrontations or uncomfortable interactions. That's not normal and natural.
Right? It's not, but it's become normal and natural, I think, online. As I'm listening to you speak, Lisa, I think that's a key right there. I think because online people are picking sides, particularly on social media, right? And then they're arguing for their side, and then they're judging the others, probably judging themselves too. It's the same thing. And, getting into these whole things of trying to be right, trying to be the one that says the clever, witty thing or shares the thing that everyone's going to agree with. And it's just like awful. And so then maybe without even realizing it, we're like now afraid to go out and talk to people in our community because we think we're going to encounter that. But we don't, Lisa. When we talk to people in the community, whether it's at the grocery store or someplace else, they're wonderful.
Absolutely. Because the people that we meet face to face out in the community are reflections of us. It's like attracts like. So because we have really been doing the inner work, we have opened up our hearts. We live in a space of love and kindness and caring, then we automatically attract people of like soul. They are also like that. So it is very rare that we encounter, you know, some curmudgeon somewhere who's trying to pick a fight. Like it just doesn't really happen.
Yeah. And I think that's why I want to get out more because I think that in my programmed mind, there's still this idea that the people who live around here are unconscious. They're not awake. They don't really know what's going on. And they're just stuck in their, the old, not old, but the sort of mainstream
Programming.
ways of doing things, the programmed ways of doing things. Yeah. And I don't know if that's true. And even if it is true, then wouldn't the best thing to do to be to start getting out there and having conversations with people? Like, how are we going to have any impact on other people? Not to say that we're here to try to change people. Of course, we're not. We're here to love and support them on their own path and accept and all those things. They're but connecting with people is so important.
Right? When, I grew up in Lake Placid, New York, and it was a tiny little town. It's just like 2,500 people. But we hosted the Winter Olympics twice. And when it was the second one, which I was here for, was in 1980. And prior to 1980, there was such a sense of community here in my town. Everyone was gathered around sports. It was such a winter, it was called the winter sports capital of the world. And it really brought people together. The people who ran the ice rink would help the guy that was running the ski jumps or the bobsled run. And everybody pitched in to help everybody else. When there was an ice show, all the parents came and they helped, they pitched in. And you know it was just, how do we help, how do we contribute to our community? And all the kids we could all just walk around freely. If you wanted to walk on Main Street after school, you knew most of the shopkeepers, and everybody was looking out for everybody else. So it was a very, very safe place to be, because there was this incredible, beautiful sense of community. And
Yeah.
a lot of that has been lost right now.
Yeah. And my community growing up, similar, in a different place, but in a small town. And um, as I'm listening to you, I'm remembering that, I was always kind of the weird one, but that was okay. That was just that was just who, you know what I mean? Everyone had their way, and we all just, okay. Like I wasn't judged or, ostracized because I thought differently or saw things differently than other people did. They were just like, "Oh yeah, she's the she's the interesting one," or whatever they said. But I felt comfortable in the community to some degree. I mean, there are of course things, and we go into this in the course. There are of course things where Lisa and I both and others who we've worked with realize how different we felt our whole lives and how the whole system but it's not because of people in our communities. It's because of the whole system and the way it's set up has and it's gotten us to the place we are now where we really are so much less connected than we were in in our communities in real life. Again, not to say that online connection isn't real. I mean, we're connecting with you all right now. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to do this. It feels good. And it feels great to know that you who are connecting with this are getting value from it and
And we're
that
getting
it's
value from
making a
you,
difference. Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Is a two-way street here.
Yep.
And yeah, I remember, gosh, I started my awakening in earnest probably in the mid 90s. And you know, I was looking around like, well, I'm kind of the only one here. And then I met a couple other people, and they directed me to an online community, and I was like, oh my gosh, these are my people. Like, they don't live right here, but they're my people. And connecting to an online community of like-souled beings was so incredibly helpful on
Yeah.
my awakening process. I'm so grateful for the internet for that. And at the same time, it's like I have become so addicted to my computer screen, which is also kind of part of a larger agenda to to get us disconnected from the natural world and each other in many ways. That it has been in many ways easier for me to stay home, but I've also utilized that time really well in creating lots of different things, and using the time to write a book and create courses and do all kinds of interesting neat stuff. But there really is a time now I'm feeling like this is the time where this is the shift of consciousness is in full swing. We're at the height of this shift right now. And we can't continue in old patterns that have been keeping us stuck, keeping us in states of dis-ease. And we've talked about this many times, is that on our self-healing journey, when we don't want to do the conventional thing, and we realize that self-healing is also the process of self-mastery, bringing all of the fragmented parts and pieces of ourselves back together. It's, at least in our experience as we've spoken about it, it was kind of a long and winding road, and there was a lot of doubt, there was a lot of fear, there was a lot of like, oh my god, am I doing the right thing, am I crazy? And it was really difficult. But when we come together in community, healing is so much simpler because we can all share with each other what we've learned. And when we share what we've learned, the healing process goes exponentially faster.
Yep, it's true. So it's not either or, it's both and, like, yes, we have a great thing with our online community. We have a great thing in our home community right now in our house where we're living together. And I think we're going to discover that getting ourselves out into our local community more is going to connect us to ways that we can help each other, that we can do things that are mutually beneficial, mutually supportive, and feel like a part of that as well in a way that can be really fulfilling. And I think that then the online and the offline will support each other as well. And I think that would be a really good thing.
Right? We can't be healthy in an unhealthy world. It's just, if our environment is unhealthy, it's very difficult for each one of us to be healthy in an unhealthy world. And so by healing ourselves, we're also helping to heal the world. If we want to restore paradise on this beautiful planet that was designed as the Garden of Eden, whatever words you want to put on that, it is a beautiful paradise. If we want to restore that and we want to have peace on earth and to be able to just simply live without having to try to protect ourselves every day, or it's like, it's not a natural way to live. And it's time to restore the true nature of humanity and the earth. And we can't do it all by ourselves. We can't do it sitting at home in our houses. We do
Yep.
have to get out and connect with both nature and our community, because we're all meant to live together as one beautiful interactive ecosystem.
Yeah. I'm so glad we had this conversation because as we're having it, all these ideas are coming to me. And the next one that just dropped in was volunteering.
Yeah,
Like if we look for volunteer opportunities and find something that feels aligned, it could be really fun. And it could be a great way to meet people and connect and to just sort of be visible in the community, you know?
sure. Yeah. So how are you guys connecting to your communities? What are you guys doing? Put a note in the chat below. Let us know. Maybe you guys have some great ideas that we haven't thought of,
Yeah, I would love to know.
right? And
Yeah.
how are you connecting online? Like, what are the beautiful things about your connections? And what are the challenging things about your connections? Because if we know what the challenging things are, maybe we can all help each other overcome those challenges,
Hmm.
right?
Love it. Love it. What a great talk. Great connection. Yay.
Yeah. We just, ever since I was a little kid, I just realized there was something very off about life on Earth. And I just always knew that life wasn't supposed to be this difficult. We're not supposed to feel unwelcomed where we go. We're not meant to feel ostracized. We're not meant to be living in states of fear and poverty, lack. It's not the way God designed it. And that's not a religious statement. It's just the word for the organizing principle of the universe, because the
Yeah.
universe is meant to be organized, organized.
Good point. Yeah, and that's another place where we've really become divided as well. Even in spiritual communities, we really felt like we were on the same page to a large extent. And then, here and there, little by little, in all different ways, they kind of succeed at pitting us against each other. And yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah.
You know, if you're allowing that to happen, I know I've been really looking at it myself. I really had so much awareness since 2020 of how much at a certain point I was like, I really felt like I was, not part of the craziness. And then at a certain point I was like, oh my God, they got me. They really got me to like look at family members as being so different, so like I can't relate to them, can't connect with them. And I was like, oh, okay, no, I don't want to do that. And so I did everything I could to shift that. And in some ways, it worked. We do what we can.
Yeah.
Again, not trying to change people, but not trying to be part of the problem either, you know?
Exactly. It's like, as grand beings of light, we're meant to be radiant. We're meant to be light and free and joyful and playful. That's what light means. It's not just about turning on a light bulb. It's about, it's about feeling that inner radiance, feeling your inner light shining, to be able to walk down the street with your light shining, having a smile on your face. So many people, when we go out for walks, we see people walking outdoors, just looking at their phones, and having these conversations with, and nobody's around, but there's somebody in their ear. They're just
Hmm.
talking and walking and don't even, there's no eye contact, there's no nothing. It's like, well,
Yep.
wait a second. It's time for us to really make an effort. At least that's what we're feeling here, is to
Yeah, yeah.
make an effort to get out and to talk to people, to make people aware of, hey, like, there's a real world going on outside of the screen that you're looking at, and it's beautiful and it's magical. When we go out in nature, it's absolutely magical. And there are beautiful, magical people to communicate with and connect with. But they don't just, pop into your living room most of the time. Every once in a while, but if you're like a few of our friends, it's like show up, like, hey, we're like, oh, room, oh, awesome.
Remember when that used to be a thing? People just dropping by unannounced,
Yeah, it's,
put the coffee on,
yeah.
know, bring out the muffins, sit down, have a conversation. That was great. Yeah. Well, I'm listening to you and I'm like, okay, it's time for me to be weird again, Lisa. So
Uh-oh,
prepare yourself. Prepare yourself when we go out there in town. I'm just gonna have to get people's attention somehow. So
uh-oh.
just giving you a little warning.
I
It's
just wear
it's
a hat and just
happening.
pretend I don't know you. I'll disconnect
Good.
myself from you.
We'll see. You'll miss out though. You'll miss out on all the fun.
Right? We need to have some fun. We need to be able to walk down the street with our light turned on, having some fun, letting people remember. It's like, oh, I can smile. I can have some fun. There are cool people in the world, you know? And,
Yep.
you know, for a really long time, I really thought that I was like odd man out, that I was the weirdo, that, everybody thought that I was, crazy or insane, like whatever they thought. I'm not putting words on it because I really don't know, but I just felt that way inside. And then all of a sudden, when I started hanging out with like souled people, it was like they thought that I was actually cool. They liked me. They thought I was fun and funny. And like, I was able to see a different side of myself. It's like if I'm just sitting home in my living room all by myself, like I don't get those reflections back. And it's easy to spiral into all kinds of odd thoughts about yourself, like, wow, I'm not okay, I don't fit in, what's wrong with me, why does nobody likes me, everybody hates me, I think I'll go eat worms.
Always back to the worms, Lisa.
Right.
Those poor little worms. Oh, I know though. I know exactly what you're talking about. Isn't it amazing? Like after all these years of life, we still can notice that voice in our heads at times, they, oh, you're not enough, you're not right, people don't like you or they're not going to or something like that. And yeah, same with me. Like when I go back to my hometown and I would, bump into somebody that I didn't even recognize and they would know me. And it was clear they weren't like, oh, better stay away from her. They were like, oh my gosh, so nice to see you. I remember you from high school. Oh, wow, cool. Thank you. I felt like a total misfit in high school. It's nice to know that you remember me in a nice way.
Yeah, and look at how many people walking down the street feel like that. They
Yeah.
feel like the outcast. They feel like the misfit. How many of you listening to this right now have felt like the outcast, the misfit, the one that doesn't fit in, the one that's weird, right? That it's like when we go out in public and we start to have real conversations, even the online community conversations, the online community conversations that we have are so healing, because the stuff that people carry around inside, when we're carrying around these misperceptions inside, when we have this darkness, the stuff that's heavy, that doesn't feel good, the stuff that weighs us down, when we're carrying that stuff inside, and a lot of us are carrying that stuff from childhood. We've been carrying it for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And when we are able to finally express it, to speak about it, we express it and it comes out. And then it's no longer in, and we're not carrying it anymore.
And
So,
we heal.
right?
Our bodies heal. We heal mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and then we can fully live and thrive and shine our light and make a difference. Do what we came here to do.
Right? And that's the original divine design, is for us to live in community. Unity is right in the word. We are meant to live together in harmony, in unity, in oneness with all of creation around us. When we see the beauty that has been created for us, this incredible earth that has been designed to give us everything we need, when we have God, source, universe, whatever word you want to put on it, nature, when we recognize that that is what supports us, that is our source. Our source is not money. Money is not the thing that supports us. The job is not the thing that supports us. Our connection to the real world, what is actually real, infinite, eternal, always there for us. When we tune back into that, that's when everything heals. That's when everything changes. And when we start reminding each other of that, that's when we start to heal together.
Yes. Yes. And life gets better and better and better.
Exactly.
And the whole world changes.
Yeah.
Yay. Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah. Thank you, Mara. So, who can you connect with today? Where can you go outside in the world and connect with even just one person, even if it's the cashier at the grocery store? Who can you connect with? Who can you make eye contact with and share your smile with? Even if you don't say anything, just your smile and eye contact can change somebody's day. You
So true.
never know what a smile can do. So
Yeah.
get out there in your community. Get out,
Yep.
meet people, see people, go do some fun social things and see what happens.
Yeah. And
That's
let
an
us know. Let us
experiment.
know what happened.
Yes.
I'll let you know what happens when I get out there and be weird and embarrass Lisa in front of everybody in town. I can't wait.
Oh, if only I was a cell phone user and could video it.
You'll use my phone. I'll hand it
Okay.
to you. Take a picture of this, Lisa. Take a
We'll get
video.
some evidence.
Oh, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It has been a pleasure having this conversation and knowing that there's people out there listening and benefiting from it. So, yeah,
So if you've been
thank you.
listening and benefiting from it, give us a heart, give us a thumbs up, drop us a comment, subscribe to our channel, or share the conversation with others so that we know that what we're doing is of value to you and that we're making a difference and we can feel the energy when you leave a comment or when you subscribe, like we feel that, and it feels really lovely, that connection, even though it's not a face-to-face connection, there's still an energetic connection when you do that, and we really appreciate it.
Very true. Very true.
All
All
right.
right. And with that, we will wish you all until next time. Happy
Happy healing.
healing. Love
Bye
you.
for now.
Bye.